Hello everybody and welcome along to our first race of the weekend for the 73rd annual Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. Good to have your company. It is race one of the Ford Mustang Challenge. John Hindorf and Joy Hand is my special guest here, Ford Performance legend, and we're in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. This is going to be an absolute cracker. You have been watching the practice and qualifying from my perspective rather than yours for a change. What do you reckon? What are we going to see in the next 45 minutes?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been pretty awesome to be up here. It's definitely a different take watching from up here. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see the practice yesterday and the qualifying. You see some cars that obviously have it sorted out pretty good, and we talked a lot about, you know, making a car that's comfortable for you throughout the practices and qualifying, and you know, it looks like a couple guys got it sorted.
Where are the key parts to the 3 3/4 mile 17 corner Sebring International Raceway, Joy?
Well, obviously, I mean, this place is all about the bumps. People talk about it all the time, and those bumps are for sure in turn one. You know, you spend a lot of time. There's a big speed in turn one, so you want your car to get through there really good. And obviously, in turn 17, there's a lot of bumps there also. But I think to get speed here, apex speed in turn one, like we talked about yesterday a little bit, and then you know, having a car that's comfortable over in turn 13, back in the back side of the track is also important.
Qualifying took place yesterday, and it puts Robert Noaker on pole position. We'll run through your Ford Performance starting grid as they come out of the pit lane for a formation lap. It will be a rolling start here in beautiful conditions. 72 Fahrenheit on the track, 79 in the air. That translates to 22 Celsius on the track. Air temperature 26 degrees. A quality 21 car field. Trying to get a bit of heat into the Michelin tyres. It will be Robert Noaker racing on pole position. Coming down towards turn 7 behind the Dark Horse Rhodes car, which serves as our safety and pace car. Heading towards a green flag start at a time certain 45-minute race. The Mustang Challenge brought to you worldwide by Ford. Built Ford proud. A global sports car from Ford. Available in right-hand drive now for those of you in Australia, the UK, South Africa. I campaigned for this for a very long time, Joey, because it's been a long time since we've had a right-hand drive Mustang. And I don't mind driving left-hand drive. I don't mind driving left-hand drive with a stick. But quite obviously, when you're driving on the proper side of the road, you know, where it started, where the Model T originally was right-hand drive as well, I'm just saying, it's nice to have the steering wheel on the side that works best in those countries.
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
I did have a left-hand drive car in the UK for quite a while. That was stick shift.
I will say Mustang turns heads in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Dirk and I drove around a Mustang in Europe while we were in Le Mans.
Why wouldn't it?
It's amazing how people like really are interested in it.
And so here's the interesting thing. It is available with the EcoBoost engine as well, which is a great engine in the UK. I don't think anybody buys it. It has to be.
Got to be a V8.
That V8, the Coyote motor. Two different classes here. The cars are the same. It's the drivers who are graded. If you see red shade bands and mirrors and wing end plates, then it's the Dark Horse category, the Dark Horse Legends. A little bit more experience of light for those people. Then it's the blue in those areas of the car. And the best of those is the brilliant Zach Lee, the number 48. You can't miss that car. It's the silver chrome car. Looks like it's made of liquid mercury. You can put your hand through it. So it's Robert Noaker on pole position. Devin Anderson for Tech Sport alongside him. Marcus Vento on the inside of row 2 for Macumbi-Makilea. They're all Dark Horse. Then that pole sitter in the Legends. Another Macumbi-Makilea Racing. 3 MMR cars together with Corbin Collins on the inside of row number 3. And then the outside Sandy Sotelo for Robert Noaker Racing. Top 10 made up by Alfonso Diaz, Crispian Pericarpi, Colin Harrison, and Tate Pritt as we come to the green flag. Lovely, lovely side by side. Oh, this takes me back to looking at kart racing. They are so close together. Little jump out of line at the back by Alex Buescher, I think, there in the 33. I think you get away with that. Down towards the first corner, Robert Noecker defending in the middle of the road going into turn 1 in that blue and white number 13. Following him through, Marcus Vento doing a good job from row 2, but round the outside, Devin Anderson trying to hold on in the red, white and black number 22 car. Going into Christensen corner here. They're still disputing this one. That argument for P2 is not over, but it now just gets resolved. Devin Anderson holds on to that position. He was very patient, and I have to say, Joey Hunt, I thought he was built pretty gentlemanly there. He gave Marcos Vento plenty of room on the inside.
Yeah, I thought he was going to give it back there in turn 3, but he held on to it. That was a good move around the outside for sure.
As is standard operational procedure, the start is under review. That will just to make sure nobody jumped out of line and did any passing. A little bit of rally crossing coming out of turn 7 through the kink that's turn 8. This was a 45-minute race when we started. We've had 60 seconds of that at the moment. And Robert Noecker, who has been the man, he has been bossing it in the early sessions and in qualifying. So far, he has not been headed in the qualifying, and he's not been headed on track either, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right now, if I'm him, I'm trying to put in a couple qualifying laps here in the first couple laps and build that gap to make my life easy. Oh, yep. Somebody's off there. Yeah, I mean, I want to set sail here and make it a boring race for everybody else if I could. That's for sure.
It's turn 13 was the incident. Now further back down the field, Alfonso Diaz going side by side. The number 15 blue fronted car with the faded, great fade on that. Corbin Collins is the car behind him in the red, white and black with a swoosh on the side. I think that's battling for 5th or 6th at the moment. We'll count them through as they come across the line in front of the For Performance Global Broadcast Centre. Here comes the silver bullet down the inside, sitting in. Zach Lee's lost a few places off the start, actually. He started in 4th position, but he's dropped back just a wee bit as they go under the Mission Foods Bridge, across the bumps, and they are very bumpy this year. They do change year on year. Suffice to say, and Joey knows this better than anybody else, I don't think they ever get better. They might move a little bit, but they don't get better.
They don't get better down there for sure. I mean, I think we talked about yesterday, there's always, everybody has an idea of where they want to place their car, right? Some guys like to drive it in deep and straight and try and get off the corner straighter. Some guys like to roll the bottom and just take the shorter way around. But I can say from experience, there's no smooth way around.
No, you have to live with it. You have to survive it. You don't want a car that's going to be upset easily by the bump. Sandy Satulo in the number 7 just made a move down the inside on the last lap, went by the Creative Autosport Chip Van First in the 68 at the front of the field. I think Robert Noecker is tuned in on 100.9 FM around the circuit here on the Ford Sync sound system because he is trying to check out 0.8 of a second. Doesn't sound much, but remember, all of these cars are the same. There's been a couple of detailed changes from the opening year last year. You'll see some stays, some extra stays on the front splitter on the chin spoiler there. That's a slightly different design, and those stays have been put there, sort of NASCAR style really, just to improve the durability of those, because this has been very, very close racing. You also can't see that we've changed the final drive ratio as well on these cars. That's to give a better top speed in places like Road America and Le Mans, because these cars are going to have a non-championship race at Le Mans over the 24-hour weekend. One race Friday, one race Saturday morning. By the way, if you're a GT4 or you're racing in another championship at the moment and it's been your life's ambition to go to Le Mans and race, Joey's done it many times. I've driven around it, but I've never raced there. Maybe I could start a crowdfunder for this. There are opportunities, and if you want to go to the Ford Performance Mustang Challenge website, all of the details, get in touch. There are teams who have cars. Gradient has got a couple of cars that potentially could be pressed into service. Joey's looking at me, shaking his head, saying, no, don't tell anybody. I would have a go at that.
They're not right-hand drive, though, so you're out.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Satulo round the outside, making it 3 wide into turn 17. He'd be pushed wide by Tate Pritt in the number 98. But that number 7 red, white and black car trying to come through. But I think it was the 33 that made the best of all of that coming through.
Looks like 98 has a problem there.
That is Yeah, dropping back for Tate Preece. Alex Buescher in the darker coloured 33. Made the best of that. Yeah, he's offline, isn't he?
Yeah, at first it looked like he missed a shift or something, but now it's definitely falling down the list there.
Oh, huge slide at Christensen Corner, leaving some Michelin rubber down there. 18-inch rims and tyres this year. That's a change too. That was universally approved by the teams. Announced at the championship Night of Champions in Austin, Texas last year. I was honoured to be invited to look after that. And when Michelin brought the new wheel and tyre combo up on the stage, you would have thought we were introducing Bruce Springsteen. I'm telling you, there was a round of applause. There was genuinely a whooping and a hollering when that new 18-inch rim and tyre came out.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of guys are liking to drive it. I think it's actually been quicker on lap times, but it sounds like a lot more fun to drive also.
A second at the front of the field, no, yeah. Further down, we are looking at the battle between Chelsea Dennifer, Alex Buescher and Sandy Sotelo. That's 9th on down for that little trio of cars as they go through the twisties at 10, 11 and 12. Do you have to think of 10, 11 and 12 as almost one complex of corners, one corner, get the rhythm right, Joey?
Yeah, I do. I mean, everybody has a different line there also. When you come off a 10, you know, I think the right line is to stay a little bit tight off a 10 so you can reach around 11 and 12. And that puts you in a better alignment for 13, because really 13 is the tough one. If you come off 11 and 12 wide and try and set up and try and have the car all loaded up and on the left side, it wants to get loose in on the brakes. And so you see a lot of those guys doing that. And I think what would be interesting to me is you see a lot of guys sliding these cars around. You know, how long can they do that? You know, like, I'm a big fan of pushing, but you also got to make it go the distance.
Red, white and black car of Sotelo has a little look down the inside of the grey. Actually, it's kind of a olive colour. It depends on the sunlight, but Alex Buescher for many years in various championships on the IMSA calendar has run military or Air Force colour schemes, and that's still sort of an olive colour with the orange accents on that number 33, and he is in a heck of a battle for 9th, 10th and 11th at the moment. That 88 car holding 9th, Chelsea Dennifer for Creative Autosport. And this is what we want to see, Joey, isn't it? At any race, particularly single make series, Mustang probably the loudest and the most fun to drive, but we want to see close racing, and the joy of this is anywhere you are in the field, you'll find someone to race against.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the fans, you know, one thing about a Mustang, and our fans definitely love the sound. So the people really come to the fence to watch this race just purely because of what it sounds like to start with, and then you have a good race and it keeps them at the fence. I mean, like I said, these guys are hustling these cars pretty hard. You talked about yesterday, they're having to, a lot of them are heel and toeing and downshifting an H pattern gearbox. So it's not just not paddle shifting. It's you're doing more than some of the cars we drive nowadays. So it's you know, one thing about these cars is they have a rev match, so you can actually use a rev matching. There's a button on the dash you can rev match, and so you don't have to do the complete heel and toe. You can just right foot brake.
Problem, I'm afraid, early on for the all-white number 63 Robert Noah Racing. This is Joseph Dederish, and he had a problem in FP, I want to say FP2, when he caused a red flag at the end of the session, and that car has pulled into the pit lane. Now there's no pit stops here, so that's the end of it. Chance of a good result there. Robert Noah Racing will go to work on that car to get it back out for tomorrow. So once again, they are bookending the timing and scoring at the moment. Still the best battle on the track is for 8th, 9th and 10th, down towards Sunset, turn 17. 1, 2, 3 changes of surface as you turn in there. Nobody getting to the apex, but that's not because they're missing it. That's because they are choosing that line. Now, battle for 5th position, side by side, coming out of turn number 1. And a little bit of a wide exit there by Corbin Collins, excuse me, and Christian Paracarmi behind him in the 37. With that multicolour, love the light blue on the back of that 37 car. And racing stripes up and over the top of a Mustang is just so brilliantly right, isn't it?
I love it. I mean, I'm a fan of it. I believe my son just did his helmet paint scheme has the same racing stripes
Nice.
up and over the top, and it looks really cool. I dig it.
That sort of light blue metallic on the back of Christian Pericati's car is pretty much the shade that my Mustang was that I owned for all of 11 days. I didn't have a driving license at the time that I owned that car. Bought it and sold it in the space of 11 days, and I really wish I'd kept hold of it. Beautiful thing, 1970 car.
I like the stripes. I also like the American flag.
You're a big fan of the American flag.
I'm a big fan of the American
I
flag.
have no issue with that.
Yeah, the Corbin Collins car there, that American flag on top, that gets me every time.
I think I drove that Mustang, that 1970 Mustang, on private ground for about maybe a half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile. For about half of that, the back tyres were spinning. It's a tremendous piece of kit. That was left-hand drive and a stick shift.
There you go. So you can do it.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, I've had left-hand drive stick shifts in the UK plenty of times.
Well, I know you can do it because, as we talked about, I've drove with you.
You sat next to me. You were brave man. This is not. We are sitting, me on the left and Joey on the right, in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. This is exactly how we were in the GT350 a few years ago at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah.
And,
I'm more comfortable now than I was then.
Yeah. You'd have been fine if we'd just been standing still in the GT350 as well.
Yeah, true. True.
Leader is Robert Noaker, using all of the exits from turn number 1, but holding the Michelin tyres on the right hand side of that car to the rumble strip, and he's built up a decent lead. All of a sudden he's pulled the pin and he's gone. It's nearly 4 seconds now back to Devin Anderson for Tech Sport in second place. Now the team need to be talking to him now. I know we still have 33 minutes to go, but right now he's managing the race, or he should be managing the race.
I gotta believe he is. I mean, I would be at this point. You could tell that Anderson was trying to hold on by the way they were driving the cars early in the first laps, and he did a good job just to keep within a second. But you can see now that the leaders here he's on a different level for sure. But yeah, at this point, you got to be saving your tires, just kind of keeping that gap.
Robert Noaker has the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 14.0. Last time he did a 14.4. Nobody else in the 14s. In fact, nobody else within a second of him last time around. So what he's done, as Joey Hand, who's alongside me in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre here at Sebring, he's done exactly as Joey suggested. He's put in a couple of really good qualifying style laps, let the Michelin tyres come up to temperature and pressure for the first maybe 2.5, 3 racing laps, and then he's gone. Afterburners on, then it's another nearly 6 seconds back to Marcus Vento, who's got a bit of company now. The number 18 car running in the Valvoline colours. There's another great classic Ford racing livery, and behind him Alfonso Diaz. Now Alfonso, again, red, white, blue on that car. Alfonso he's bossing the Dark Horse Legends at the moment, but all he's thinking about is getting on the overall podium right here, because he's a racing driver. Now, here we go down into turn number 17. Now, whilst we've got a moment, every Mustang Challenge race, we highlight some cars in our Ford Performance team update. So let's take a little look at the featured team for this race. It's the Tech Sport cars, and they've got 3 of them. Devin Anderson in second position at the moment. We've got Alfonso Diaz leading 4th in the overall, but leading the Legends. And their 3rd car in the top 7 is Colin Harrison, the number 21, sitting in 7th position and in the top 6 in Dark Horse as well. So 3 cars in the top 7 for Tech Sport, our Ford Performance team update for this first round here at Sebring. We'll look at some more of the teams in race 2 when that comes around tomorrow. Keep an eye on the progress of those 3 Tech Sport cars. Noaker still pressing that throttle down. Another 14, a 14.3 last time around. This is incredible. Devin Anderson is by no means a slouch. He's by far the next best. Actually, I say that, and Christian Pericati's just put a 16.6 in. So that's actually the second best. No, check that. He's the third best because Sandy Satulo down in 10th position has just put a 16.4 in the dark horse class. Robert Noaker. Oh, another problem. This is Chip Van Verst for Creative Autosport in the blue and white car. That's a nice colour scheme as well. I like the way that it shows the Coke bottle styling on the rear arches there, Joey. These guys they've left nothing on the table in their design as well as their driving.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see all the cool cars out there, all the designs. I will say, Noaker, what you notice the most about him is he's using the most racetrack everywhere, right, and doing it with the least amount of sliding.
I was just about to say, he's not throwing the car about, though, is he?
No, he's not. And he's taking, he's cutting some curbs where you should cut some curbs. He's using the exit curbs right to the edge. He's hanging half a tire off, but not a whole tire. He's definitely, from me watching here, he's definitely maximizing the racetrack the best.
Chip Van Verst has gone behind the wall, so the Creative Autosport team will be taking a look there. Huge bump right on the exit before you hit the exit curb of turn 1, and the problem with that is at that point you're really in the lap of the gods in terms of physics is just going to take over. You're committed to your line at that point, Joey. There's nothing you can do. People say, oh, could you not just tighten up a bit and miss that? No, the car's full four-wheel drifting there.
Yeah, I mean, the word is committed. In turn 1, you're committed from turning, but especially when you leave the apex and you start powering up and going to throttle, you are pretty much committed. You can pedal out of the throttle a little bit, but we were just talking about earlier from our session, and you get a car that's a little bit pushed up. You got one.
Oh, spinner.
Just right there, just as we talk about it.
Well, that actually is a pretty decent save from Chelsea Denofa in the Creative Autosport car. That was turn 1, exactly what we were talking about.
Exactly. It's not easy to spin in turn 1 and not hit anything. So
Chelsea needs
awesome
to put the lotto on because there was a bit of luck involved. Now, don't overdrive and try and make it all up in the next 2 corners because you've got Sebring sand on the Michelin tyres as well. Let's see if we can unpick what happened there. Top of the picture, already sideways coming. Now that car was broadside rather too early there.
Too early, yeah. I mean, probably just got in. Looks like she was wide early. Looks like, looks like we're wide really early there, and just got in the bumps on the outside, and we're wrecked.
That's a crash that just hasn't. You've wrecked, but just not hit anything.
Yeah, you're
but
lucky.
That's on turning. That's the back end going on turning. Now, was that a little bit too much speed? Was the turning a little too harsh? Maybe too much front end on the car? You were saying yesterday, and in the early sessions, Joey. I mean, funny enough, we were talking about this. Both Peter and Ryan are going to be doing the iRacing Sebring 12 hours, and they were deciding which car to pick. And Ryan says, I'm going to go GT3, and he said, take the Mustang. It goes really well, but make sure that the back end. And I went, oh, Joey says you've got to have a very stable back end on these cars.
I'm glad you were listening.
I was
I'm
listening.
Glad you were listening.
And so I was like, right, okay. And Ryan's gone off to have a chat with his driver group, and they're going to be testing as soon as he's finished here for next week's iRacing at 12 hours. But yeah, Chelsea's car just turning in there. Looked like it might have been a little bit loose as they turned in.
Yeah, I walked around the paddock yesterday after we were up here, and people were telling me how they learned some tricks from what we were talking about there. So I don't think they were serious, but I
should
will
be
say,
charging for that. Send them an invoice.
This is a big group I could be charging too.
Yeah.
I will say that we just ran our big old slider there too.
That's the number 18 Marcus Ventos. This is the battle for third, and he's in a bit of strife here because Corbin Collins and Christian Pericarmi, who got better drive out of turn 4 and 5, are going to be side by side. There's also a little bit of hood movement, bonnet movement on the right front. Oh, and straight on for Corbin Collins and the McCumbee Racing. He was up against his teammate there. I suppose better to do that than run into your teammate, because Chad McCumbee and Stephen McAleer wouldn't have been overly happy about that. Okay, they're teammates, but they are racing for themselves. But that red, white and black car taking the old circuit and going straight on, and that's dropped him a couple of places.
I will say you don't see people do that very often, to go all the way down, especially with these cars having ABS. Normally you can get it headed off and just kind of get through the dirt. I'm surprised that was the choice he picked there.
Is it better, though, to keep the dirt off your tyres? Because he kept a pretty good speed up.
Yeah,
Bump. He's just lost it on the... You know what? I think he might have lost that on a downshift there.
Maybe.
I think he missed a downshift.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of time going around there, though. It's pretty significant.
Can you imagine what it was like racing on down to that area?
I can't, actually. I saw a YouTube video of somebody lost their brakes there.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, that's what you think
it
about.
It went straight through the gates and onto the street.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I've seen
definitely what you think about when you get down to anything that turns hard right after a long straightaway. I mean, Road America.
It wasn't a Mustang. It was not a Mustang.
Yeah. Road America, the end of the backstretch, you know, into Canada Corner, you think about it all the time. You always give a little extra tap to your brake pedal, for sure.
Yeah, and explain why you do that, Joey, because we see that a lot on the TV coverage. A brake lights sort of maybe popping on maybe 10, 20, 30 meters before the braking area. You're not trying to scare the guy behind at that point.
No, this place, especially Sebring, is notorious for brake knockback. So that means that the pads have knocked back all the way, like away from the rotor. Get somebody off again in turn 1. See?
That's Pericarpi, 4th position, and he'll have Sebring sand on the tyres as well. So the pads knock back away from the rotor,
and then so when you go to hit the brake pedal, it feels long, like you don't have brakes for a second, right? So what we do is
because you've got to make that distance to the rotor back, to the disc back, right?
You got to make that gap back up. So what we do is down the straightaway, after we've left a corner, what's knocking it back is these little alligator rumple strips on the exits. That little high vibration just moves stuff back. So down the straightaway, you just tap back, tap, 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 and it'll bring those pads back up to the rotor. So when you go to that initial brake pressure, which you go to it really hard, then you have the brake pedal there.
Got the blue and white livery on the Paolo Salvatore car. Scott Thompson right in behind in the, again, that metallic. That actually is, yeah, I was right about that little colour. That's the number 30 car, Scott Thompson, and that's the other LAP Motorsports car. So that's got the whole car in the colour of the rear valance of Christian Pericarpi's car, and that is almost exactly the colour of the 1970 car. That's brilliant, but he's never going to get that stopped.
That's what I was talking about. You know, just go a little too. But that was ambitious for sure. That was a big
low percentage lunge, perhaps.
Well, I mean, I think you know, maybe it would have been okay, but
hang on, something's gone wrong. That number 30 car for LAP, Scott Thompson. Now, I thought he might have just missed a shift, but now he's not back up to speed. Oh, that is such a shame. He was going so well. Was it something?
At this point, if he doesn't have a problem, you know, it just seemed like he took a big move to the inside. Maybe he had something go on there. Maybe he did miss a shift. Maybe he knocked it neutral. Maybe he didn't find his next gear.
Yeah, he's trying to recycle the car. You can see from the LED headlights. So I was going to say, I wonder if he stalled that car out. Oh, meantime, on the front straight, right in front of us, Alfonso Diaz. This is the Dark Horse Legends leader. Oh, my goodness. The smoke pouring from under the right front guard. Now, is that tyre smoke and rubbing, or is it something more insidious? I'm trying to look at that tyre to see if it's at a jaunty angle and whether that might be catching the bodywork. He's staying offline. Oh, Alfonso, I feel for you. He's gone to the cutout on the short circuit. That's really heads-up driving in all of that frustration and disappointment from Alfonso in the Tech Sport 15 car. He's managed to find the overlap so that we can pull that car back out of the way. We may not even have to go for... Oh, we have gone full course yellow. I was just about to say, if we can pull that car back, it might not have to go full course yellow. There's something coming out from under the bonnet. My little hopeful heart was thinking, I wonder if that's just a loose wheel rubbing, but it's something more substantial than that. Now, we've gone full course yellow because, I don't think we've gone because of Alfonso's car, it's because of Scott Thompson's LAP car in that beautifully green-blue metallic. I should try and find my old Mustang, see if it's still around.
That's a nice one. I'm impressed if that's a wrap.
Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it?
That looks really good.
Yeah. So this all started as he was coming down the inside. We thought to make a pass, but then didn't pick up speed from turn 7. And he's trying to get the car off the circuit, but we could see he was trying to recycle the power because the headlights were flickering on and off. Nice LED design on there with the triple LAD running lights. We've already got the AMR safety truck. So this was a lap ago, battling for position down the 80 side, the inside of the 84 Paolo Salvatore of Torre Racing. Lost a position as Doug Peterson went through, and then the car just didn't pick up. I think he was dead stick at one stage.
At first look, it looked like an ambitious move. He was diving down, and then at that look there, it looks like a survival move a little bit, like something went wrong.
And he was trying not to hit the back of Salvatore. Yeah, I agree with you, Joy. Totally. So the Steps tow truck is there. Good news for Alfonso Diaz is it's not a problem with him. He unplugs his radio and gets out of the left-hand side. The bonnet, the hood is up, and there's nothing sinister going on there now. Hopefully he's saved the car from any damage. That Coyote engine, that sonorous Coyote engine. He's straight into the intervention vehicle. He didn't even look back at the car. He's not a happy bunny, is he? Because he was battling for a top 3 overall and was absolutely dominating the Legends class. That cedes the lead in Legends to Alex Buescher, who we saw making those moves earlier in the black number 33, or the, sorry, olive drab 33 with the orange Spark Performance car. He's up to 5th overall now, so he got ahead of Colin Harrison. He was having a great battle with Marcus Vento. The two McCumbee Macaleer racing cars, 20 and 18, back together again. Robert Noaker's 6 and a bit second lead, of course, has evaporated. Gone.
It's not what you like to see when you're the leader. You do not want that yellow flag. But, yeah, I mean, it gives Anderson and Collins, these guys got a shot. Just depends on, it'll be interesting to see if the tire's cooling down for second, third place there, if they have any shot at him at all.
So under a full course yellow behind the dark Mustang Dark Horse street car, available at all 4 performance dealers, including in right-hand drive. So down to the first corner as we recap the race. Robert Noaker got a good start. The battle was for second place. Coming through on the inside, Marcus Vento looked like he had second for a while, and a big spin from Chelsea Denoffer, but managed to get away from it at turn 1 without any damage. Tick that box. You spun at turn 1 at Sebring? Yeah, how much damage did you do? None. None at all. No, I don't believe you. And then the car that's caused the red flag down the inside of Salvatore, which we thought was a bit ambitious to start with, might have just been holding, trying not to run into the back of the car ahead. And Alfonso Diaz, who was not just leading, but dominating Dark Horse. I should have spotted that earlier on. He's actually sliding on his own oil there as he was turning into turn 1. That happened to me once at Brands Hatch when I was racing. Spectacular pictures of me on the lock stops coming down to the final corner, or through the final corner at Brands on the long circuit. And Jeff Bloxham got that.
Never done that circuit. I definitely got some laps at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit.
Yeah, I've raced that as well. Yeah, same car actually. Raced in the it was in the I was a support race to the British Touring Car Championship when I was doing all the support races for ITV Sport in the UK, and I raced on the long and the short circuit there in a Ford Capri RS 3100 nice. in dark blue.
Tell you,
blue oval runs deep with me.
In a DTM car there, the heart rate stays high on the Indy circuit.
On the short circuit?
On the short circuit.
No rest at all, is there?
No rest at all, no.
How committed is that in the paddock there?
Very committed, yeah. Downhill, sparks flying.
Yeah.
People
the whole
don't
time. Realise you cannot see, or you can't see any of the road there.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about some of the commitment things on this racetrack. You know, you're reaching around here. We're looking around walls, say like turn 1 at 17, but there at turn 1 at Brands Hatch, it's downhill and around the corner. So and it's not a lot of room on exit, is there?
No. I was always taught go all the way out to the left-hand side, and where the entry road is your turning point.
Yeah.
There's a little entry road turning, and you cannot see where you're going, and you know if you've got it right because the car bottoms out at the bottom of the hill. If the car's not bottoming out at the bottom of the hill, you're not going fast enough.
I got some great photos of that, of those sparks flying off the car there.
So at the front, Robert Noaker leads. Our new Dark Horse Legends category leader. In 5th overall, Alex Buescher in the 33, going past the scene of Alfonso Diaz's demise there, or at least his car's demise. There it is in the colours of Spark Performance. Nathan Sparks, of course, veteran of single manufacturer racing himself, took on team owner team owner job a few years ago. Wine Country Motorsports on the side of that car as well. That's a Sonoma-based firm, if memory serves. She used to have a fantastic shop there when we went to.
Still there.
Is it still there?
Still there,
in the paddock, yeah.
I'm at Sonoma a lot doing some karting stuff with my son, and yeah, it's right down there at the bottom of the hill. They used to help me out a lot in my younger years. Wine Country helped me out a lot.
They're good people, aren't they?
Yeah, very good people. Yeah.
Genuine enthusiasts, all kinds of equipment and memorabilia there.
Used to have, I don't know if they still do, they had a trailer here all the time in this paddock and then at Sonoma, so they were on each coast.
So we're waiting for the clear up now. We have got a little bit of debris on track from turns 1 to 3. I think actually that's more likely to be fluid, although that's me saying that. But I think that's more likely to be fluid from the Alfonso Diaz car. Also, an incident between Marcus Vento and Christian Pericarpi for LAP Motorsports under review. Now, they were running together, and we saw Christian going a little bit wide, so perhaps there was something going on around that. We'll wait for the wait for the race control, and yeah,
definitely got to give it to Alfonso Diaz there. He knew what happened. He immediately got to the right, like you were saying earlier. Obviously, they've put dry sweep down, so it has to be some sort of oil. But I mean, it's pretty sharp to get offline and do your best to get it around.
In the midst of the disappointment and frustration of seeing a class victory and a possible overall, I mean, he was battling for 3rd place, a possible overall podium. He thinks, I better get off the track so I don't ruin everybody else's race.
It's tough to have your mind right in that situation, but certain people are sharp like that. He definitely sorted it out.
Yeah. Still 12.5 minutes to go. Every opportunity to go back racing.
Get a good look at coming in turn 16 right there. It's one of my favorite parts. These are all runways. I don't know if people understand. This is a runway coming through there, and I like to get hooked that curb right there and get out onto that extra bit of runway.
So 15 on the left.
15 to the left, and then to set up for 16, right, and get a good run down the straightaway. And with these cars, the cars with less aero on them, less aero like dynamics on them, they can move more to the left there. For everybody watching, like in the 12-hour race, you'll see the prototypes and all the bigger downforce cars. They won't be able to pull the car back there.
Because they were ground out?
No, just because they don't have, one, they're going faster there, but they don't need to. Right? They have aerodynamics to help you across the apex. These guys are working more on mechanical grip, so they're trying to set up more for the corners.
Just a note from race control, that incident we were talking about between Christian Pericarpi and Marcus Ventos, that is going to be reviewed post-race now. So, as I always say anyway at the end of our broadcast, everything is provisional because we have to have post-race technical inspection, post-race tech. You've heard us talk about that before. Congratulations again, and thank you to our hard-working track services who've already put the preparation down on that fluid spill from Alfonso Diaz. So we're almost ready to go back to green flag with still over 11 minutes to go. We're going to get, I reckon we're going to get maybe 3 or 4 more racing laps. It'll all depend how quickly they do that first sweep before they come back around.
Man, I mean, if you're thinking about this when you're running 2nd and 3rd here, you've got to be thinking as quick as Noe is. You got to attack early, right? I mean, you have to. I think your shot is turn 1, turn 3. I mean, you got to get a really good restart and really attack him early. Because if not, I don't. I think he's got the car and the driving to get away.
Here, it's a long run from 17 down to 1. So knowing it, do you go early or do you wait as long as possible?
Man, I think that most people are thinking you're gonna go early, so you do I would be thinking to go late because they think I'm going to go early, right? I'd be playing that mental game.
Double bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, now everybody's heard that, so next time you're in front in a restart, they're going to say, yeah, Hand likes to go late.
Well, and then I'm going to say, well, I remember that time
so I'm gonna
I
go
was
early.
talking and I said I'd go late, so I'm going to go early.
The double triple bluff.
The double triple.
Sounds like an in and out order. So Noaker will bring the field back to green. The time ticks down, time certain race. Second race tomorrow, of course. We'll have that for you. Joy's coming in again. Oh, safety car lights are out on the Dark Horse Rhodes car. Yes, please, is the answer to that question.
Yes,
there is
please.
no other answer. Have you had a go in the next one up in the road car, the GT3? There's the wide body one that they launched at Le Mans.
Oh,
last year.
GTD.
GTD, excuse me, yes.
Yeah, I was involved in that early stages of development for it. So I have got to drive it. I haven't driven it recently.
Is it as mad as it looks?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be one of those ones. You talk about turning heads on the street.
Yeah.
That one's going to turn heads for, it's going to be a looker, obviously. I mean, there's one sitting down here for people who want to look at it. White with red and blue stripes, which as you know, I think everybody figured out so far that red, white, and blue is my thing. But yeah, it's a cool car. I mean, it's got in different versions of it. It's got so many cool things on it. I think the brakes are going to stand out to people. The power is going to stand out to people. Yeah.
And the noise.
The noise is going to stand. It always stands out.
Yeah.
I think that's bringing the people to the fence right now. We're about to make some noise.
Yeah. Let's bring it on. Turn it up. And get ready to go racing. Corbin Collins up a couple of places to a podium position at the moment. Can he trade that in for something better? Robert Noaker will bring them to the line. He's led every session. He's led every lap of this race so far. There's 8 minutes to go. We've got 3, maybe 4 laps as they come to the green flag for the first round of the IMSA Ford Mustang Challenge. It's a great restart from Noaker, again using all the exit. He's trying to clean up his tyres. I think he might have gone a little bit too wide there, but he's not going to get a challenge into turn 1. Here comes Anderson now. Oh, he might get a better run through turn 1. Across the oil dry. Oh, it's a touch. Little bit of a bump and run. The red, white and black car just making contact. That new front chin spoiler taking a bit of a battering there. Now the over and under. Lovely, lovely defensive driving by Noaker. Came from the middle of the road into Christensen corner and has held on to that position. He was under extreme pressure coming through and out of turn 1. He's turned it into half a second lead. How quickly, Joey Hand, things can change. That was absolutely veteran driving from Noaker.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Anderson had made too big a gap on the start. He backed off from 17. I thought, man, there's no way. But I think he timed it pretty good. And he had a good run, better than it even looked from our angle, and had a shot at it. I mean, I think, man, that was the time. That was the time. I mean, going into turn 3 was I'd probably had a better look at it down the inside. Even though Noaker defended middle, there was some gap on the bottom. I probably would have.
You got to do it, haven't you?
I would have shoved it in there.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Big slide
big
from
slide.
second place, Anderson. That's going to cause him a problem. He's lost momentum. Here comes Collins. Already made up 2 positions. He's going to go the long way around. Buffalo Gals round the outside. That is an outstanding move if he can make it stick. And the track comes to him in 2 corners time. Through 13, now to 14, 15 and 16. They're still side by side as they come through. This is brilliant stuff. And Marcus Vendos may be the car and driver who benefits. Oh, and a mistake. Got onto the grey there by Collins, and that's pushed him down 2 places. And it is indeed Vendos in the Valvoline car who goes up to 3rd place. And look who's up into 4th. That's Alex Buescher leading the legends, and now he's just 1 step off the overall podium. Incredible stuff through the twisties.
And Noaker's looking in his mirror going, yes.
Go on, boys.
Keep on fighting up there, and he's going to just save his tires and ride out this last 5 minutes here if he can.
That's going to be 2, possibly 3 laps, depending on when Noaker crosses the line. 5.5 minutes to go. Brilliant stuff over at the Jean de Bihan Benz. All over, it looked like Collins would get round the outside. I think that's another missed downshift, you know, Joey, as he was trying to turn in.
I feel like it is. It looks like his rear wheels accelerated on the downshift, like he got the downshift wrong and it just shoved the front tires through the corner. It's tough, but I mean, that's what they had to do. He had to push right there.
Now, another incident under review. This time, for 2 cars further down the field, Nick Smithers and the number 79 of Drew Neubauer. And Smithers then, that's being looked at. Meantime, we are disputing second position at the moment. And now the person who is watching very carefully is Alex Buescher in that olive and orange number 33. He is leading Dark Horse Legends, and he's got 5 Dark Horse cars between him and Tom Tate in second and Stephen Weiser in third. This is only Stephen, I think his 3rd race in this championship. Came into the last race weekend at Indianapolis last year to give it a try. And I spoke to him, he said, yeah, I'm loving it. And that was after practice. Hadn't even done qualifying by then. I'm coming back next year, he said. That's how infectious this is. And he looks like he's going to be on the podium. Into the pit lane for the number 58, Nick Smithers. Now, is that a drive-through, or has he come in with damage? Haven't seen race control. Out in the front, there will be a smile that is as wide as his racing helmet for Robert Noaker. As he comes round this time, he will not get the white flag. All of a sudden, it's back to 4.5 seconds. Anderson, Vento, Alex Buescher right in there as well, as Collins is trying to fight his way back through after dropping positions. You know, Buescher just checking them as they come through, sitting in behind the 22. So across the line, Noaker and Buescher now in 3rd position. Buescher is now in 3rd position. Let's just check that by eye as they come through. There's a disconnect at the moment between what is on the timing and what is showing on the circuit. I'm seeing Noaker from the 22 of Tech Sport of Anderson, then Alex Buescher in 3rd, Corbin Collins and Colin Harrison in 4th and 5th, the 20 and 21 car. Yeah. Absolutely. It'll be white flag next time around. Well, this is an incredible drive from Buescher. Can he even maybe get to second over? He doesn't need to. He really doesn't need to. But tell that to a racing driver, and I'm staring very hard at Joey Hand.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get to the next guy and pass him for sure. I mean, Noaker has been the class for sure, but, you know, I feel like I want to be I definitely would take some chances here.
Yeah. Robert Noaker, 4.6 seconds to the good. And now it's been a wake-up call, I think, for Devin Anderson. He's starting to put some times in. Another incident, this time between Corbin Collins and the number 22 of Devin Anderson in second place when they were battling. Well, that explains something had happened there when they were battling for second and third, which allowed Buescher through.
I didn't see a lot there in that when that was going out. I think they might be talking about running wide, you know, and coming back on, but I think it looked all fair to me there.
Yeah. Well, Buescher, I mean, if the 22 gets a penalty, Buescher could in fact actually be in second, so he'll be pushing hard. He's got Corbin Collins from Cumbie McAleer racing behind him. Not a class car. That swoosh livery in red, white and black looking good. 3 3/4 miles to go. The final lap. Joey.
Well, I was just saying that Collins, I think, you know, he went wide there. That area where he went wide earlier on the exit of 15, there's a lot of rubber pickup. Yeah. And I think it probably took him a lap or two to get that off because he's making a comeback here. He's not done yet, it doesn't look like to me.
Noaker so far is Mr. Perfect at Sebring. Great battles further down the field. What happened to Zach Lee? He qualified so well in the Legends category, right up the field, and ends up in 10th at the moment. Somebody's just spun that, or was torturing the Michelin tyres. Tom Tate in 11th, and there's dust, which I think was the silver bullet. No, it's the, oh my goodness, it's the 88 Chelsea Jennifer for Creative Autosport, and once again that number 88 car at a leery angle. No, check that, sorry, it was the 98. It's Tate Pritt who's going slowly. Oh no, that's two separate cars. So it was Chelsea. They're two mostly white cars, one 98 and one 88, which for this slightly elderly commentator, my goodness, all happening on the last lap, but not for Robert Noaker, who is, I'm going to say, cruising. He built up a nearly 7-second lead. It was gone with the safety car. He's got 3 more corners to negotiate. Right now, he can stick it in top gear, put the cruise control on. Honestly, from here, I could win this from here.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably. I'd give myself an 8 out of 10 chance of winning from here.
I'll give it to you. But yeah, it is pretty impressive. I mean, what we do, 4 laps there after the yellow?
Yeah.
Pulled a 5.5 second gap.
Yeah, more than a second a lap.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Now, I know there was some fighting going on behind, but this is absolutely incredible from Robert Noaker. What a way to start off the 2025 Mustang Challenge on the IMSA package at the 73rd Annual Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. Noaker has swept the meeting so far, fastest in all the practice sessions, pole position, fastest lap, race victory. My goodness, what a performance from Robert Noaker and his RNR team. It will be, for the moment, the Tech Sport number 22 of Devin Anderson in second, but that car is still under investigation. Alex Buescher in third overall, and the best Dark Horse Legends after problems, mechanical issues for Alfonso Diaz, who was as dominant in his class as Noaker has been in his. And then the rest of the finishers, third in Dark Horse, Corbin Collins ahead of Colin Harrison. They had a pretty good scrap, and they're both under investigation. In fact, Corbin's under investigation twice. Then Christian Pericarpi, he was on for a better finish in the LAP Motorsports 37 till he made a little mistake. Marcos Vento, C above comment, finishes in 7th, 6th in class. Zach Lee will be second on the Dark Horse Legends podium in that silver number 48, ahead of Tom Tate, who finishes behind Chelsea Jennifer. Chelsea with that leery spin coming through turn 1, but didn't hit anything. No damage to the Creative Autosport number 88. Tom Tate, by the way, making up the top 10. Then Doug Patterson, Sandy Sotelo, Drew Neubauer, Paolo Salvatore and Tate Pritt were the only finishers, with issues for Joe Dederich. Came in the pit lane, so did Chip Van Verst. And we saw problems for Scott Thompson, Alfonso Diaz. Stephen Viger as well pulled over, and I did see that one, but he pulled over on the orange overlap, so no cessation of racing there. Noaker, Anderson and Buescher on the overall. Corbin Collins will take the third step of the Dark Horse podium. Unofficial results, of course. On another interview right at the end, it was the 98 and the 88 came together at the end. So that was Tate Pritt and Chelsea Denofa, and they both ended up going slowly. Right.
Makes
so
more
that's
sense.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah. So they both had an issue. We'll leave that to race control to sort out. A final quick word from you, Joey, on the first race of the 2025 season and your first trip to the Ford Performance Global Performance Center.
Well, I would say I checked my heart rate after that restart.
Yep.
I got up to 96. So I don't normally get too excited about things, but it was actually it was quite exciting to watch it from here and to call it with you from here and to see the good racing there. You know, I was thinking about what I would be doing, right? And it got me all amped up, ready to go. So a good time, great racing there, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get back on the racetrack and do it myself now.
I'd be delighted if my resting heart rate was 96, to be honest. only kidding, Dr. Nicholson. Brilliant start to the season then, and it has gone the way fairly comprehensively of Robert Neuwirth, who topped the timing sheets in both free practice sessions, had pole position, fastest lap of the race winner. Didn't have to fight too hard, even though he did have a restart to contend with. Some brilliant racing through the pack, including 3 wide. But Neuwirth takes it, and Alex Buescher takes the Legends, finishing 3rd overall. We'll do it again tomorrow in the sunshine at Sebring. For Joy Hand, I'm John Hindhaugh. Bye-bye.